Hello, Mark Atwood here. Mark Atwood Show, Adventures in the Cult. Did I just do that wrong? It's Mark Atwood here. Yes, whatever my show's called. Welcome. How are you? Yes, I've got hat hair. Don't worry about it. We all get hat hair. Well, only if you wear hats, which I do. So it's my fault. So why am I even mentioning it? I have no idea. But anyway, what can I tell you? Well, on this show, this is interesting. I'm not going on about this thing, but this is the heel flux, and I had a neck pain this morning, so I thought I'll look up neck pains in the heel flux book, and it was 800 hertz, and I've had this on for a couple of hours, and I've got no neck pain. People keep asking me to review it, so I thought the best way is to just tell you what I'm using it for. But as I've said on another show, I am interviewing the creator of this week, which I'm looking forward to. That's going to be interesting. I also want to thank Britt Bartonbach for sending me this book, The Deal, Operation Phoenix. This is going to be quite a read. A spy's personal account of the abduction of Hitler. By the way, I don't get time to read books fully, but I will skim it. Oh, I've read it. That was brilliant. Also got this one. If you missed this show that I did with Michelle Melendez, this just arrived. Thank you, Michelle. The Death of Freedom, with a foreword by G. Edward Griffin, the legendary G. Edward Griffin, and soon to be legendary Michelle Melendez, if she's not already. I mean, this is the ancient laws that run the modern world, how money and the law were engineered for control. I'm looking forward to reading that one as well. So thank you for that, Michelle. Bit of news about Toyne Newton. I got a message from Jackie the other day saying that he'd been taken ill. So prayers to Toyne Newton. I hope you get well soon. Thank you. If you missed that video, it's called The Demonic Connection. And it's well worth watching and sharing. Very important to share the information in some of these interviews, because I try to get people who know more than me about stuff. And recently I got an email. I'll just read you some of it. How are you, Mark? I've been following you for 7 years. I met you in Arkansas which I used to call Arkansas before somebody schooled me, on the Truth Tour, and ended up not knowing what to say to you. I did get a picture with you and the shirt. You cover so many topics that I have an interest or experience with, and I wish I could fill you in on all of it. Your show on symbolism will be their downfall triggered me, because I am the symbolism that caused their fall. Okay, that's very interesting. Does that sound interesting? That's from Lauren Machuga, who joins me now from Arkansas. Hi, Lauren.
I'm in Missouri, but yes, hello.
Hi. I'm only reading what was in the email.
Yes, I drove to Arkansas.
No, you came to see me. I get it. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying. That was I remember that place. It was an interesting place to be because of the connections with the Clintons and all of that.
Oh yeah. My mother was born in Arkansas in Lawrence County, but she grew up in Illinois, and then she met my dad in Illinois, where he was born, and then they ended up in Missouri. But she's got family all over there.
Well, American Made is possibly the best Tom Cruise film ever made. Did you ever see that film? Where he's the pilot.
A long time ago.
He's the drug runner. Anyway, that's all irrelevant. What do you mean? Explain your email.
I literally, my last name, Machuga, is the Hebrew word for compass in the Bible, from the scripture that they use, that they got their symbolism from. The word rule, or the square, comes from the word rule, which is QV in Hebrew. And the rule is my grandmother's maiden name. Funny, I figured this out in 2020. That my two family names are in one scripture in the Bible. But Jehovah's Witnesses had gone a little further than that, because in their version, in the next verse, where it's talking about the ash tree being the symbol of strength among the oaks.
Hello.
That's Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
The tree that one version calls an ash and another calls a pine, Jehovah's Witnesses changed to the laurel. So now it's Lauren, Machuga, and the rule line. Okay, now I got bigger issues, because the Machuga, the number in Strong's Hebrew is 4230, which comes from the phone number I grew up with. Hello, love.
Okay.
You want to come see? So I start digging and I start finding out that there's two versions of my last name in Strong's, and the other version comes out under the first four of my social security number. Like, well, I sure as hell didn't do that one either. So more digging and more digging. I got to a point where I was like, I need Janine to confirm what I'm thinking is going on here, because I found her September, I guess, 2020. I found you, I think, in 2020. Like all these people, I'm like, I'm gonna end up talking to these folks. I know I am. Took a long time, but the numbers all line up. Lauren in gematria is 71. It's the reverse of 17. The Machuga is 54, which is reverse of 45. And my middle name is 47. Machuga in one version means compass. In the other version, they tried to describe it as meaning mistake, but it means backwards or turned around, kind of like a mirror. So a lot of my stuff is inverted. If you take the 4230 Machuga and put Machuga in gematria, for the simple gematria, it's 54. For the English, it's 324. So it's 423 backwards. The squadron I was in when I was in the military, my basic training squadron was the 324th. And then I went to the 342nd. Yes, ma'am. Do I need pretties? You have pretties. Yes. This is Mark. I have to talk to Mark. We said I talked to Mark and we can do whatever you want afterwards, right?
Yeah, say ice cream. Where's the ice cream?
It's right there. She knows. Oh, she's looking now. She's like, wait a minute. It's
Oh, yeah.
the mince all that's left. So I ended up getting a hold of Kevin Hoyt and started talking to him, and we did a lot of shows together. I did a few podcasts on my own, just kind of filling in what information I could here and there, and I kept finding more connections, even within the symbolism in tarot cards, and the its connection to the Bible and its connection to the Masonic symbolism and where it all came from. I was like, this is damn ridiculous.
Yes, I
Let's see what
understand
else.
that. I understand that feeling.
Yeah, I've had a lot of weird instances in my life that I didn't really understand why they were so significant or why I remembered them, and then suddenly they make sense.
Hmm.
When I went to Gitmo in 2005 to be a mechanic, just simple basic mechanic, um, I found out my security clearance was one step from working for the president. And security office in Gitmo, this is a very high security place, and they are suddenly very wondering why I have a security clearance like that and why am I here playing mechanic. And then I ended up librarian for the detainees because I had a security clearance. Mommy, hello, love.
What kind of books did they
Yes.
read?
um, there were like book series that they were allowed to have. Everything was what they were allowed to have.
Yeah.
What is your deal? Why are you stare at me? Yes, it's beautiful. It's a necklace. The detainees gave me clues. That was what really screwed with me when I figured out who I was supposed to be, because it's like it roots back to the Divine Mother. Okay, it's like reincarnation of the Divine Mother type of thing. And baby, Mark. Yes, do you want to see Mark? Did you not say hi to him? Is that what's wrong? Okay, you say hi.
Hello.
Bye.
Bye. Hi and bye.
She's so sweet.
She is.
But yeah, detainees gave me clues. One of them asked me for a book on Plato, and I'm like, I've never seen a Plato book in my tiny little room full of books. But if I find it, I'll bring it to you. That made me wonder for a long time. I never forgot that because I never did find the book. And then one detainee, when I walked on the block for the first time, he asked me, he's like, do you speak Spanish? And I was like, very little. Why? And he's like, "Ooh, mamacita." And I had to turn around and walk off the block because I was laughing so hard. I'm like, dude just hit on me in front of a block full of detainees who half of them won't look at me. Why would you say something like that?
Well, because he's in
It,
Gitmo and you're a woman, and I assume that there's not a lot
he's
about that about.
it's a lot about throwing people off to see how they'll react. Like most women
Yeah.
would have been offended. Like, why are you hitting on me? I thought it was hilarious. I didn't get hit on a lot.
Well,
But he was great because nobody else on the block spoke Spanish, and that's why he chose Spanish. He didn't want the others to know what he was saying to me. But he ended up being a translator for me for the whole block. So if somebody
okay.
was asking for something specific, he would tell me.
Okay, look, we've had 10 minutes and there's a lot of things to unpack already.
Okay.
So let's back up the truck a little bit. Beep, 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 beep. And I don't know why I made that noise. And start from the beginning. So when did you were in the military? You had a normal upbringing.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Did you?
I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. I
Oh, okay.
wasn't, no
Well,
birthdays, no holidays,
that's
no
normal.
military service. I,
That's normal if you're a
I,
Jehovah's Witness.
right. I left the religion at 17. I was kicked out for ungodly things. So,
Well, that could be a number of things in the Jehovah's Witnesses, but
yes.
what I mean is you weren't in the Montauk Project. You weren't taken off it by spaceships. Did you have any of that as a kid or not?
Uh, I had one instance as a child where I woke up from what was a dream of falling. And I woke up and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm okay. And I relaxed. And then suddenly my entire body dropped and hit the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had incidences like that. I had weird dreams. I had memories of dreams that may not have been dreams, but may have been situations where I had been drugged or disabled. There are a lot of things about my family I didn't find out until I was an adult. Like, my brother's being molested and, by a family member and that kind of stuff. Bling bling. You're bling bling? You've got a lot over there, honey. But and then my mom's got twin older sisters who show up in a 1950 census as boys. So my childhood may not have been so normal,
Mm-hmm. Well, I
but I
kind
thought
of
it was.
well, that's the thing. I kind of got that feeling. Yeah, but you remember
I remember.
your childhood.
I remember almost all of it.
You wouldn't believe the amount of people I'm meeting recently who don't remember their childhood.
Jason, my significant other, he doesn't remember a lot of his childhood.
This is something I'd love to dig into. But did you have any experiences of seeing ghosts, psychic experiences, or anything like that as a kid?
I had incidents of seeing things I never talked about because you're not allowed to see things, you're not allowed to know things. Anything that like I had the ability to feel pain in other people's bodies so I could fix it.
There you go. Could
Um,
you tip the camera just a little bit?
well, she's
Yeah.
nursing now, so
Okay. Oh, sorry. I, did,
she
I
she
thought it was an
wanted she
accidental
needs
tip. Sorry.
attention apparently right this minute, so
Okay.
it's
Sorry.
okay. She does this on every podcast I've done almost.
Oh well, you never work with children and animals unless they're really cute.
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
get past this one.
No, she's great. But so then you got kicked out.
I was kicked out at 17. I figured out by that point, like my mom was not in a capacity to make choices for me, much less herself. Um, there was a lot of corruption, a lot of child abuse, sex abuse, that kind of stuff that I even told my dad about. I had a lot of friends who were removed from the religion shortly after starting to talk about it or ask questions. Um, After I left the religion, I had, well, I shouldn't say that. Friends started dying before I left the religion, and then after I left, I noticed that they were more so. one of my friends was killed by her stalker at 19 after the police let him go. I'll tell you, I went to her funeral and it did not look like her in the casket. There's a lot of weird stuff about my friends who passed away. All of them complained of people who did things or tried things. I complained, but they had a harder time arguing with me for some reason, and I didn't understand at the time why. It wasn't until I'm much older that I realized I had authority over all of these men who claim to have authority over me. My mom constantly complained about having to sit in the front row of the Kingdom Hall because we got there late. Do you think they save the front row for the people who are late? They save it for the people who are the most, important because it's the closest to the stage, which is where the all-seeing eye spot is. That's where the man stands in the corner. She never got it, or she got it and she was on the other side, which is possible. The company she worked for was dirty. Everything.
So your parents were met and married in the Jehovah's Witnesses before you were born?
Yeah. My
Okay.
parents became Jehovah's Witnesses when they were preteens, teens.
Okay.
Like their parents got into it. My grandfather, my dad's dad, he actually drove for General Patton in France for about a month. And that's about as long as my grandfather was in the war before he was blown up and sent home.
Oh, he survived.
He survived. They found a stash, an ammo stash for the Nazis in a French barn. And the US military's in there, and the farmer comes out and says, "You guys got to go." And he opened a hatch in the floor, and they all went down this hatch into a tunnel underneath the barn. And Grandpa was the last one to go through. He went through head first, and the explosion went off. His legs were still exposed, so he had burns on his legs.
Whoa. That's a weird
But he
synchron.
looks very much like General Patton, too.
Your granddad did?
Yeah.
So there's somebody else that we know.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I've always noticed that similarity. There's several actors in Hollywood that I would say have similar features to my family members. And it's always weird to me.
Well, I'm just trying to unpack your story. So, so you left you left that church, and presumably that meant your family fell out with you, did it? Did they?
Yeah, I still lived with my parents because I was 17, and then they kicked me out at 19. I got an apartment of my own for a little while, then I joined the Air Force.
What made
Um,
you want to join the Air Force?
my first boyfriend had joined the Air Force, and it was after September 11th, where trying to hold in a job like I was before, like you couldn't make any money as a waitress. Nobody was going out to eat. The chiropractor I worked for didn't hardly pay squat. I kept looking for new jobs, and eventually I'm like, let's just go to the military and they can pay me to go to massage school. They'll pay for it and we'll be good. And I ended up becoming I joined and they had me as explosive ordnance disposal.
That doesn't sound a lot like massage school.
No. I didn't stay at EOD for long. I was only in tech school for a little while, and then I was like, I don't want to do this. And they're like, okay, well, we'll get you another job. I almost ended up in broadcasting because I did radio in high school. And then they were like, nope, she can't be on the radio. So I ended up fire truck mechanic. Well, great. My dad was a mechanic. My brother was a mechanic. I pulled my first radiator when I was 11. I can do that. And then you know, they give you school money and all that other fun stuff. A lot. They also sex traffic their own.
I was about to ask you, did you notice any weird stuff in the military? And
The first person to befriend me at my first base ran a swingers website, and his wife was a psychiatrist.
whoa.
Wouldn't you know it, that shortly after that, I also made friends with a master sergeant who came to our base to write. They came to our base to write books for their career field. He was the lead flight attendant on Air Force One for George W. Bush. And he was trying to convince me that he could get me as a flight attendant too. And he even asked me out on a date. I've got 2 stripes, master sergeant, senior airman. No, sir. The lady at the post office who I called mom, she was like, "No, go out with him. He's got money. He lives in DC. He's got a classic car, whatever." I went on a date with him. The night I went on a date with him, I got a phone call from that same staff sergeant who runs the Swingers website. And he said, "Hey, so and so's having a going away party tonight. We're meeting at the strip club. Do you want to go?" How many times you call the girl to come to the strip club? I told this guy what was going on. He's like, "Yeah, we'll go. We can go there after dinner." Okay. So we went to the strip club, and when I walked through that door, I looked at that staff sergeant. I said, "Get him away from me." And he separated me from him all night, and he made sure that we had to give him a ride back to his truck. They have to do what I say, though, when I tell them. It's so fucked up.
And well, let's go into that a little bit. Give me more examples. Who are they? Do you just mean men, or are you talking about
No,
demons?
not men. Like those within like the club.
Yeah.
There's somehow they just kind of instinctively realize that there's an authority there.
Yeah, it's demons. We're talking about demons. I just had this conversation.
Well,
we just
there's that energy that they're tapped into.
Yeah.
So recently, I've had the local county try to get me on jury duty 3 times, and I rejected them 3 times. Return it. I can't take Lucy with me, so I can't even go to tell you why. So I just said no such corporation over the name and return to sender. Then I got pulled over after my 3rd rejection in the next town over, just so I got tickets and have to go to court. Judge was not expecting me to stare him down and tell him I was the square and compass, and he has to stop using my name now.
Well,
I was so mad.
Well, what did he say?
He stared at me for a long time, like, "What the fuck do I do?" He's like, "Well, ma'am," and he just went back like he was gonna just read, this is what you're charged with. "No, sir. No, sir. You're in a building with my name on it, and I just watched you commit fraud and extortion with every person in front of me. I got a whole courtroom full of people who are getting ready to pay tickets, and none of them fucking know what's going on." And he's like, the cop in the room stood up, and there's a bench that goes around this way. The cop's on one end, there's the clerk here, there's the judge here, and then it wraps around. So you can walk out this end and you can walk out this end. The cop got up on the side like he was going to go arrest the judge. Like I had the right words, but I didn't apparently say the right words. And I pointed at the cop and I said, "And you're just as guilty as he is." And then he switched sides of that counter. Like, "Okay, I'm going to have to arrest her." And because the judge didn't know what else to do. He had to get me out of the room because he knows I'm the authority in the room. So he's going to charge me with contempt of court. The cop grabbed my arm and to take me out of the room and was mad because I wouldn't put my other arm behind the back. And he acted like he was expecting me to act up. And I just looked at him and said, "No, my daughter's out there. You're not going to act like that." By the time we got in the elevator, he was shaking and staring at me, and I realized I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared. I was sure, and I fucking knew it. And I looked at him, and I was like, "You're more nervous than I am." Oh shit! And then I end up in the holding cell and all that, and I started singing. "You Are My Sunshine," oh, and playing with my voice. I realized that the cell, it amplifies the energy that's in there. Whatever you're feeling, it's gonna build it. So I started twisting it and making it happy and singing. And they kept me for about an hour and a half and then got me on over the phone, and we're like, by the time they got me on the computer, there were 2 men in the room who refused to look at the camera, and they were dressed like they might have been judges. and they were like, they had to have a convening of the boys, like, what do we do about this? And she's like, just get her the hell out of here. They didn't even want me to come back to the courthouse because they had to transfer me to the cells, which is in another building. They didn't even want me back in the courthouse. They were so scared. And they
Well,
didn't charge me a dime for contempt of court. But I
no,
did force them to finish the fraud and extortion. And I made sure I put it in a cute little note with my case and told them, thank you for allowing me to leave my mark on the square. Ahava. And I signed it with there's, I don't know if you can see this. The veins on the back of my hand spell HV. I can't even see it. I have to get it popping. But the veins, the biggest veins spell HV.
yeah,
This is the V. This is the H.
I can see it.
That's she in Hebrew. HV. HY is he. So all your words in Hebrew that end with VH are feminine, and all the words that end with YH are masculine.
I'm looking at my veins now.
Yeah, that one freaked me out too. I'm like, it's even written on my hand. So like Yeshua, Jesus supposedly ends with VH. It's a woman. Eve is Chet Vavhe, VH. Yahweh, it's Ihava, not Yahweh. It's YHVH. It's female person. YH is male person. But YH is also the generic he, like you have in Spanish, the masculine and feminine. But if it's a group of people or you're not sure, you default to he. That's where the YH gets people confused. Because that's the generic, as in he is or they are. The VH is feminine.
Well, this wouldn't surprise me. What I would like to do is unpack this so that the viewers fully understand it. I'm with you, and then what does it mean, and what does it mean for them? So you got to the point where you're in the military, and all these weirdos, and you realized you had power over them. They would do whatever you said, and then that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's about
Thereabout.
right.
And then
Yeah,
you ended.
that would have been 05, 06
And what
that I
year?
started.
What year were you in Gitmo?
05.
I think people watching this will want to know a little bit more about what Gitmo was like. And the reason I'm asking, do you know my Gitmo story?
I don't know if I do.
I got invited to Gitmo, and I didn't go. And I wanted to go, but I got stopped from going. And I was going as a guest of my friend Matthew, whose brother died in 9/11, and he was taken by the US military from London to Washington, Washington down to Gitmo. And as they crossed the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America, Mexico at the time, there was a hurricane that narrowly avoided the plane, and the hurricane was called Hurricane Matthew, and it was Matthew was the name of the guy in the plane. And if you look at the satellite picture of Hurricane Matthew on Google, you'll see it's the face of a demon. And then Matthew went there for 2 weeks, and he said it was a kangaroo court. And obviously most of the people there who were they? Because they weren't the ones that did 9/11. So who were they?
That's a good question. I think these are individuals who were, some of them anyway, were of higher vibration and intelligence knowing, and they were trying to get information out of them or reduce them to something. I don't know. Some of them were just, I didn't know enough about them. Like I had to interact with them for like 2 months. And there was different stages of security.
There's not many people in the world that have had that interaction with people in there. Are you allowed to talk about it? Did you sign documents?
I didn't sign anything.
No official secrets act, because when I was in the military, we
Nope.
had to sign the Official Secrets Act.
Yeah, I didn't have to sign anything.
Okay.
I have a high security enough. I had a high enough security clearance that I could almost walk into any building and be like, I want to see the place.
Well, let's unpack that. How did
That's
that occur?
I joined the military and I was supposed to be EOD, and I filled out my security paperwork, and I stopped being EOD 6 weeks in.
What's
I
EOD?
got to my explosive ordnance
Oh yeah,
disposal, bomb disposal.
right.
So I go I go on to my first base. Like I went new tech school and a first base and all that stuff. It's almost a year later, and they come to visit me to ask me a few questions, and I'm like, "You guys are still doing this?" They're like, "Yeah, it's cheaper to finish it than it is to stop it." Bet the big lie. I'm not retarded, but okay, I'll play along. And I didn't know why my security clearance was so high. Even for EOD, that was a little excessive, unless they were planning to set me up for something. Somebody was planning to put me in place. Why am I getting contacted by somebody who works directly with the president? Why do I have a new friend that's a lieutenant colonel chaplain that works at the Pentagon, and we're pen pals now? This is odd stuff, people. I'm eventually gonna notice. So I think they were trying to set it up for me, but I didn't fall into
You
the
didn't bite.
traps that they thought I
Yeah.
would.
Well, no, this is the interesting bit for me because, for the sake of the viewers, I'll explain this. So, um, there are programs, worldwide programs, that identify certain souls before they even come in to this life, and then they have to get you to contract or be part of something. And that's why I mentioned Montauk, because according to Stuart Swerdlow, who had a lineage from the the USSR president, he was identified because of his psychic abilities and because of his bloodline, and then was put into the Montauk Project. 300,000 children were involved in that. Most of them didn't make it. That's why I was interested that if you have, and I don't doubt at all that you have this.
History of testing?
Well, no, I'm talking about the who you are before you became Lauren.
Do I
And
remembering?
well, the fact that you have that, they will have known that before you got here, and they will have
Yes.
probably monitored you, and then they would have put you in, tried to get you in certain situations, as you've already alluded to, and then you realize that actually you said no a lot. But
Yeah.
a
Or
lot of
even the situations they could get me into that they thought should make me ashamed. I'm like, no, no, go ahead and tell people I'm not that worried about it. And if they don't have the blackmail, if they can't tell you, well, we're going to show people, I'll show them myself.
I've been in that situation myself, so I know, because once you don't have the fear of that, they have no control over you,
Mhm.
which is amazing.
Yeah, if you don't have fear of death and you don't have fear of shame,
You're kind
that
of,
they
yeah,
have a lot less to work with. I mean,
that's
they've
right.
they've either come close to killing me enough times or actually died, and I changed timelines. I don't know. The ectopic pregnancy rupture should have done it.
Okay, so I mean, how many times do you think that I've nearly died loads of times as well, but somehow I got through it? And maybe, yeah, I thought the same thing. Maybe I did, and then I came. Anyway, what's your story? Where
Yeah,
did you?
that's
Yeah.
that's how it feels for me a lot. Times when I'm like, I guarantee you that was a heart attack because that should have taken me out more than once. Um, the ectopic pregnancy rupture, the ski trip where were we? Grand Targhee, where we got snowed. Like the mountain is snowed in at the top, and we're the last ones on the lift. My parents are like so far in front of me, I can't see shit. I was probably supposed to be dead that day. I just had a Def Leppard song playing over and over in my head till I got to the
So when did you start fully waking up? And you said you found me and Janine in 2020. Presumably, you were awake before that and were looking for
I was
people like
half
us.
awake. I
Yeah.
was half awake. Like I knew college was really a scam, but I didn't know how bad. I
Mm.
knew the military was a scam and screwing with us. I interviewed women in the military before I joined the military. At 17, I was interviewing women with reproductive health issues from the military, and they told me about crap doctors did, medications they gave, chemicals they were exposed to, way uh, supervisors treated them, places they were forced to work even though they shouldn't have been, all of it. And I knew before I joined the military, so already I got a heads up on them. I already have medical knowledge because I have been studying it for, most of my life. I started working on my dad for his pain when I was like 5. So I was already deep in it. I was studying how Alzheimer's worked and how to fix it when I was 19. I'm in. And I was ready to stand up to the doctors and tell them they're fucking off. I have literally had a doctor close his office. This was after I was out of the military, and I went with my dad to translate for him because he needed help with this doctor. This is a doctor that saw me when I was a kid and became an orthopedic surgeon. And I told him, I said, if that was what was wrong with my dad, his arm wouldn't work the way it does. What's wrong is this. He can't do this. And the doctor just went, I'll be right back. I'm going to go look at the MRI again. He came back and he's like, I would just suggest a reverse shoulder replacement. Da 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 da. And my dad kind of shut down, like, he's not comfortable. I got to think about this. And when we went to check out, mom paying the copay and stuff, the lady at the desk said, I don't know what just happened, but we have been informed that Dr. is closing the offices on Friday, and we all have to find new jobs.
Oh, whoa.
And we have to help you find a new surgeon.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Dr. Bassman, your entire career started with my fucking broken arm when I was 8. And now you're trying to scam me on my dad. And called him on it. And he quit. I never took him to court, nothing. When the VA tried to screw with me, and I called the head office and I bitched to the secretary. I'm like, I've done billing, I have done HIPAA. I learned HIPAA at 19 because I worked for a chiropractor. I know how all this works. And your people are screwing with me about all this stuff. I know they're lying to me. I have not paid a medical bill since. I've had 4 ER visits since COVID hit, and I've never paid a dime. The hospital doesn't even send the bill to the insurance until it's too late for them to legally claim. Everybody's in on it. They all know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all
I
double
delivered my
dipping.
daughter at home because I didn't want her to have to deal with the doctors and stuff through it. We ended
Well,
up there anyway, but
so you were half awake, and then in 2020 you started waking up, like a lot of
that's
us.
when I found my name in the Bible in 2020.
So that's when you found. What made you look for it? What? How did that come about?
The guy I was dating was Jewish, and we were doing the prayers for Hanukkah.
Right.
And I'm at a point where I'm like, I want to know what I'm praying. So I need to know what these words mean. And the way I learn things is usually a translation book. I
Okay.
know the Bible pretty damn well since I was a kid, and we were based off King James, so this should be my translator. So I was going through and I found really cool words and found things like the word sensitive is mushy. Well, that makes sense to me. That's an easy. They got the word Yoda from Yada. It means knowing. Jedi is chosen one.
Mm-hmm.
My parents called me Yehudi before I was born because they hadn't have a boy's name picked out. But I'm named after my dad. Okay. So, anyways, I was going through here and I was just looking for things based on sound. And somehow I came across this word that looks like my last name. And I have a flashback to seeing this as a child, my uncle showing it to the rest of the family. And everybody laughing and, oh, isn't that cool? Our name actually has a meaning. And that was the end of it. But I remembered that, but I thought it was like a Webster's dictionary or something. And then it's actually the root for the word Michael, for the name Michael. All the way up to the U is actually original word for Michael. They just added the L for like Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
Elohim is spirit. Oh yeah, you can have your ice cubes. There you go, baby. Good job.
Elohim is.
Oopsie, it's okay. Sorry, go
Elohim,
ahead.
you said Elohim is spirit.
Yeah, Elohim is like the energy of, not necessarily a being. And whereas the VH has to do with like a living being. That's the H is the breath, the spirit. That's your soul. But the Elohim is like it's a strength, it's a vibration, it's a power. It's not necessarily a conscious being of its own. It's an energy with which you may have. I could have multiple Elohim energies based on because I love and happiness and strength and all these different versions of El that are in the Bible, like Yada. El Yada is God of knowledge. It's the spirit of knowledge. Anyway, these are things I figured out just tearing it apart in this one book.
No, that one's just interesting because there's been this raging debate over the last few years, triggered by people like Cliff High talking about the Elohim being the Jewish space aliens that made them all do nasty things. So I was just interested in I'm mentioning that for the viewers because some of them will be going.
Everybody's back and forth. Yeah, everybody's got their strong belief about it, and it's easier to blame a person than it is to blame a feeling you have. Like I have a fear, so that's the Elohim of fear. That's the energy of fear. It's just like with religion. All these different religions claim to worship this particular god. Did you ever ask that god how he wanted to be worshipped? Because just because you have orgies or blood sacrifice or whatever doesn't mean the god you worship has any interest in that. Well, that changes things.
Yeah. No, it does. And so that's what I'm getting to with I mean, when in your email you said that you asked a question on one of mine and Janine's shows in December 22, but we didn't fully understand the question. Do you remember what that question was?
Is there a living being on Earth that is the square and compass? And it was asked right after the question about whether or not Jesus was returning, which was funny.
Yeah, well, these are the kind of questions that get banded around in this world at the moment.
During that question, I was texting Jason Q while you guys were asking that question, and you even looked at the clock and said, "Look, the clock says 11:33." And I was like, "That's what time it is here. Why does this clock say 11:33?" It wasn't that point it was like 33 minutes into the interview. Water. Yeah, water. Yes, ma'am.
So from this, the interesting thing here, Lauren, is doing this work over the last 6 years, I've had a huge amount of people tell me that they are Jesus, they are Yeshua, they are they're this person, that person, and they think they're the only ones. What I'm interested in is what conclusions you've come to after finding this information out about yourself. If you are the only square and compass incarnate on this earth, what does that mean and what do we do with it?
I think I already did it. It was like it had to do with the path I took. Because I've never wanted to be in a position over other people. I don't care about being in charge. Do your life, be happy. Don't hurt nobody else. Okay? Always been that way, and I'm still that way. I don't want to be the boss. I don't want to be anybody's damn boss. But if you're going to be in a position where you're going to hurt other people and I have say over it, I'm going to use it. If I have say to make you stop raping, murdering, eating, whatever, you're trying to induce fear in people. Why? That's absolutely retarded. You're not doing any better because of it. You only do better when you treat everybody with love and every experience as a learning and loving experience. It's hard. It's very hard. I got pulled over by the cops, and the front license plate on his car is my entire name in gematria added up. And I told him that. This is ridiculous. Universe is telling me. I see it, but what am I supposed to do with it? I have to have other people on a spiritual level who can recognize and know that they have the authority over these people. You don't need me. Those people, those demon toned folk need me to stop them. You don't. They worship somebody, they bow to somebody. If you bow to anybody, it all comes back to that energy, that being that they worship. I just happened to add it up with my name and my social and my phone number and my address and the street I lived on and the city I lived in, like all of it. St. Louis, Missouri is where I was born. The area code for the phone numbers is 314. That's pi. An instrument used to mark a circle. Pi. The St. Louis Arch, which is the opposite of an obelisk. It's the inversion of an obelisk. It's the feminine. Right there on the river, and it makes a reflection, so it's a full circle, and it looks like the ancient Hebrew Q, which is a circle with a line through it. Like so many things. I used to work down the street from the Arch at the Missouri Athletic Club, which is their symbol is the cherry diamond, the square and compass. The Freemasons are one of their clubs within the club. I was a massage therapist, massage the rapist. I massaged many. I have treated most horrible people in the world with love, and it breaks them. They don't know what to do. I don't know that they're horrible. I don't know that they've done these things. So I treated them caring, lovingly, removed their pain, and it changes something.
Yeah. That's what that's what I think this is all brilliant. I just for the viewers, apart from it being a story, what advice would you give them?
Stand up, believe in yourself, go within yourself. You know that you're connected to source. You are part of source. Everything that exists is source. We're all one organism working together. Go within yourself. You know the connection. You know exactly what you're supposed to do and who you're supposed to be. Stop letting the outside tell you. Stop letting any government, any religion, anything tell you how to be and what to do. Just feel it. Like talk to the earth. Let it flow. I just pay attention to what's around you and love it. Love yourself. God bless it. You can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. If you're looking in the mirror talking shit about the way you look and the way you smell or whatever, you're not happy with whatever in your life, turn around, look at yourself. You love yourself. God loves you. You are perfect. You are exactly who you are meant to be at this very moment. You're perfect. Shut up and move on. Okay. Thanks. Have a great day. That's my TED Talk.
That's a good one. I like it. I'm just pulling up these pictures. You sent me a picture of Charlie Freak and Colleen with Geraldine, Lucille. What's
my
that
grandma.
picture? Do you want me
They just happened to be on the screen when I made the screenshot from my grandmother's. That's my grandmother's obituary. The Rule and Machuga together.
Should I pull it up?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Yes, ma'am. I'll get you some more water. You're doing real good, baby. Thank you so much. Good job.
How old is she?
She'll be 3 in May.
I miss those days.
Funny, my Machuga comes out to 54 in gematria, and her birthday was 5/4.
Amazing. It's just taking me a minute to get these.
Yeah, you probably got a million emails with a million things in it.
Certainly do.
I have sent you emails multiple times a year. Excuse me, since 21 at least. I figure it's all going to happen when it's supposed to. And when I met you in Arkansas, I was like, damn it, I thought we were ready.
Well, that's the thing. I trust everything in divine timing, and
yeah,
I see emails
a lot happened in that trip that needed to happen, and I made contact with you and Jason Q, and all that stuff started there. So,
yeah, that was amazing. Did you enjoy that day in Arkansas?
Yeah, it was really cool. Oh yeah, I hugged Bruce Lee. Yeah, Gino.
Yeah, I remember. That's it. I remember. Oh, John. Oh, I've just remembered. John Wayne's grandson and me became mates that day.
Yes, he was there. I didn't talk to him, and I kind of feel bad about it because it was like he didn't even register in my vision until I was leaving.
Yeah,
I got there at like 9 o'clock in the morning, thinking it was the same as all the rest of the events, but it was a Saturday, so it started at like noon or 1.
Yeah.
So I was at the event center for all that time beforehand.
No, I do remember it. Just trying to find this image. It was not coming up in the way that I want it to. This screen share is not letting that one come up. Okay. There was another one I wanted to see if I can get up. That day was. Look, there's a picture of us. Let me see if I can share that. That's quite. Yeah, I remember this. So funny. They're just not showing up for some reason. But I mean, how's it been for you the last 3 years since then? What are you? I mean, obviously you've been busy being a mother and everything, but
yeah,
what
I've been able to just kind of sit back and enjoy being calm and settled and out. I'm out in the woods. Oh, speaking of, how much turkey tail does your friend need? I got 22 acres of it in like 4 colors.
That is the greatest mushroom on earth at the moment.
I also get lion's mane, about a football size twice a year.
Wow.
And we got chanterelles coming out our ass.
Yeah, well, these are the mushrooms they're trying to stop us having and failing.
You can't stop it in the Midwest. It's on a dead tree.
I know, it's brilliant.
22 acres. I got more than a dozen places where it's growing crazy. So if you need me to send you a sample.
Yeah. Send me some turkey tail. I'll chew it. Yeah, but what's being understanding this about yourself, what advice would you give to other, because there's a lot of this going on at the moment where people are starting to, over the course of my show, the things I've been told about myself, the little details like the M's on my hand and all this kind of stuff. People have to go on this journey of discovery to remember who they are, which it seems like you have.
Yeah.
And
have you seen the movie Jupiter Ascending?
Of course I have, multiple times. I love that film.
Okay, that's one of those movies that I went, yeah, that's kind of how it went, but a little less dramatic.
Yeah. What I loved about that film is that she was cleaning. She was
almost done.
She was cleaning toilets. What I loved about that film is she was cleaning toilets. And
even after I found out who I was, I haven't worked a job. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I clean shit every day. Like I was cleaning the shitters in a rich man's house before I came here, and it turns out maybe he knew who I was before I did.
That's
I mean, he's living with my stalker now. She moved in the day I left. The woman, the phlebotomist who took my blood for DNA testing in 2015, ended up hooking up with my boyfriend who was 20 years older than me. And now she lives there. She's his age too, but she's a phlebotomist who ended up working in an auto parts store. I'm like, yeah, none of this is, and I met her several other occasions in between. Like she came up to me at a grocery store called Shop and Save, and just, oh, you have this beautiful skin, da 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 da. Do you know anything about biocosmetics? And I just had to stop and think of the words for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, I can see where this is going. Okay, sure. Well, I don't wear makeup. Like I have mascara on right now. That's the extent of my makeup. And she was trying to convince me into this stuff. Biocosmetics. That's the adrenochrome shit. That's the taking baby cells and making people younger. Oh. That's her. This is the woman who was stalking me and ended up living in my house. Wow. She also pretended to be a veterinarian and put our dog down when he suddenly got sick.
Yeah, well, I've got a lot of experience.
I have a lot of strange one-off connections to famous people, and like randomly, there's one guy that's was on TV on a regular TV show that my friend followed, and she met him online, and he was supposed to come to our Airman Leadership School graduation, and he was sending us gifts and stuff. Okay, what would you like? Food's not that way. It's
yeah, well, that's why. That's why
Joe Buck. I've got like one-off connections to him multiple times over, including my dad. My dad worked directly with him for a project at the club he worked at. My dad was a mechanic at a high-end golf course called Old Warson. And Joe Buck, who
look, there we are.
Does okay. There we are. My free hug shirt.
Yeah.
What would you like, baby? You want pizza? Not that kind of pizza. You want that? You're trying to grab my computer. Come on. Did you try to eat the Sharpie? Uh-huh. Good job. But he worked at a old war, but he did photography as a hobby. And he had a bunch of pictures of LaCourse and stuff. So they had him do big prints for the clubhouse and during the remodel and stuff. Yeah. You want what? Yes, in just a minute. Here. But my dad did all this work with him, and then Joe gave my dad 3 gifts, and he gave me 3 gifts. I never met Joe. I got his 2006 World Series press pass because I watched the 2006 World Series from Iraq. I got a T-shirt that said "Slam-a-Lama Ding Dong" on it because that was the catchphrase from the World Series, apparently, and a picture of him that was signed. "Slam-a-Lama Ding Dong" sounds really dirty to me.
Yeah, it also sounds like a spell.
Ritual.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah,
we just
I tried to explain that to my dad. I'm like, I recognize these things, whether you do or not. I'll be right. Yes, ma'am. I'm coming right there. I gotta get something to hold the computer. Um, like I recognize these things, and I tell my dad, and he won't respond. The one time I mentioned Freemasons to him when I was real upset, I was crying. I was like, they can't kill me. And he's like, who can't kill you? I was like, Freemasons, Illuminati, whoever the hell whatever they want to call themselves. And he hung up on me. That was the first time in my life my father has ever hung up on me.
well.
And yes, ma'am. And he, that was right before I left my ex. And I realized all that was craziness was going on. So I was concerned. I'm like, is dad in on this? He won't talk about it. He won't acknowledge or deny. But when I show him things like our name in Strong's, he laughs a little like, I've never seen that. Or holy cow. But my mom's on the other side of the room trying to clarify what the scripture means, or she gets to the point where she's like, okay, I think it's time we go now. She's done it to me twice like that. I don't see them very often. They've seen Lucy 3 times since she was born. I keep my distance because they still associate with people that I know have abused children. So
Yeah. So, do you in any way think the Jehovah's Witnesses is related to Satanism?
yes, I mean the way you define Satanism, yes. They are part of the brotherhood and the abuses and stuff. I found stories of girl who, oh, she's a woman now, but she had wrote stories about when she was a little girl at the headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, and they had her reading tarot cards and stuff in the basement, and she had to be careful not to say things that would upset them because if she did, that the abuse was real bad, and so she learned how to say things nicely so she wouldn't get hit, make it sound like it was in their favor. She saw other kids be abused. And I found that on Reddit or something. And it was pages long, pages. And she's calling these guys out by name. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I believe that. I can totally believe that.
Well, I'm coming to
So
the end. I'm coming to the end of my time for this show. But how do you feel about the future? Where do you think we're at?
if I'm on your show, we're super close.
Yeah.
Like insanely close. If I know who I am and all these other people know who I am, the white hats know who I am. I'm pretty sure that they've put on events just to lure me out. There was a Bard's Fest in St. Louis, St. Charles area, right before I moved out here. And the Pillow Guy is there, and all the big names in the truther movement type stuff. There was Pastor Greg. I scared him because he's got his booth and his books, and he's all happy go lucky. And I went up and I shook his hand, and when he went to shake my hand, I saw the energy change as soon as he grabbed, because he was going to crush it, and he couldn't. It was like there was an invisible field around our hands. He couldn't. And then it was like, well, what can I help you with? I said, looking for somebody who knows a little more than I do about this particular thing. I just so happened to find my name in the Bible. That's my grandma's maiden name. That's my first name. And by this point, he won't look up at me.
Yeah, this is so interesting because I've had lots of experiences like that, and that's why your story, I wanted to share it with my audience, because I think a lot of people in the audience will listen to both of us and think we're nuts, and then the big percentage will go, oh yeah. And that's really, I guess, what the message is: learning who you really are and understanding that, and dealing with it, because it is like dealing with it with humility and understanding that you're untouchable anyway.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody kind of is, especially once I know.
Yeah.
It's like, I know what I'm here to do, and you can't tell me otherwise. If you try to stop me, I'm going to be loud about it. But it's gotten to a point where I've watched so many people get so close to the information so many times. Janine did a read with Ashley on a Deep Dive Friday. It was the last one they did, or second to last one they did, on the sun. And it came out as feminine energy, a goddess energy. The instrument used to mark a circle is the sun, because a circle represents time or a cycle, and we use the sun to track our cycles. Same with the moon and the stars. Different moon, but whatever. But it's the sun. They worship, the Masons believe that is the masculine energy, when it's really a feminine. The Machuga is a feminine word. It's VGH. That G means foundation. It's Eve with a G thrown in it. It's not just life giver, it's the first life giver. The M, it's written right to left in Hebrew, and mostly people in English see it left to right. So it looks like waterfall, but it's energy increase. And it's the vibration. The ancient letter M, ancient Hebrew letter M, is a straight line and then a couple squiggles. It's an increase in vibration. So it's energy of the divine mother, the source energy. I carry that source energy, whether I'm that or I just carry it enough so that I have the power to change something. I get to change something. Tell me what you need me to change. Like, how do I tell these people to stop? If eventually the word is passed on, they can't just see me, one demon sees me and the rest don't know it happened. That's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. They use my name for their magic power. Bullshit. I took my power back. You have no power to work off of if you're trying to use me. Ta-da! That's where I believe.
Perfect. Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much for the chat today, Lauren.
Thank you, Mark. I'm so glad I got to finally talk to you.
It happens when it's supposed to happen. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've had interviews with David Ian Rogers and Michael Feely. I've done a million shows with Kevin. Eventually had to get here. Next, it's you and Janine.
Well, brilliant.
She can read on it. I so want her to read on it, because it's like I want to see what her cards look like. I've seen what mine look like.
Well, I'll send this to her and see what she says.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you enjoy the rest of your day. I've got to go off and pick up my kids. So God bless you. Take care.
Love.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you. Bye,